back to the Better Fitness Proof Podcast. That's what I'm calling this, the Better Fitness Proof Podcast.
Okay.
The better, get the, better, right?
Yes.
But fitness proof, you are proof of someone who is doing fitness and has as part of your life.
Yes.
Fitness is your life.
Mm-hmm.
You've made it a lifestyle, you identify as a fitness person.
Yes.
So I have one of our members here, Nikky. Nikky, can you say hi to everybody and just please introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about you, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Nikky. I am a single mother to an 8-year-old. I do work out very often. Something you actually didn't know is I'm actually a certified level 1 animal flow instructor.
No,
Yes.
get out.
Yes.
What? Why are you holding down on me? Holding down on me this whole time. I had to sit down and talk to you to figure that out. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Certified level 1 animal flow.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta do some animal flow. You gotta take me through. Be my first one.
I got certified March 2020.
Oh.
So, guess you know how that went.
So you need to get moving.
Maybe, yes.
Okay.
I do. Yes.
All right.
This is all part of the process. Get the ball rolling again.
Yes. Let's set up something for sure. I want to do it, and maybe you can take the team through something.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm sure they would love the experience with you. That'd be really
I'm
cool.
down.
Really cool.
Yes.
But back to you. So,
Okay.
single mom, animal flow instructor. What about you?
I work full time.
What do you do?
I am a lab technician.
What were you before that?
I was working at Premier Physical Therapy as a therapy aide.
Oh.
Yes. So I went from on my feet all day, every day, to now sitting all day, every day. And it's not that great.
You move? You're getting up and
Oh
moving?
yeah, I get up and move every now and then, but it's not enough for me. Yeah.
So what's enough? Tell me about your journey. So let's bring it back to the start. What was your life like a few years before we even knew each other? Years ago.
Years ago.
Give me that rundown.
All right. So I would say, as far as the whole fitness side of things, getting into fitness, I was overweight as a kid, all through elementary school, high school. And then when I got to college, I was like, I don't want that, freshman 15. So I actually started the Special K diet. Do you remember that?
What's the Special K diet?
Where you would eat 2 bowls of cereal, so Special K,
Okay.
and then have your, normal meal and, 30 minutes of cardio, and it was supposed to help you lose weight. So I was, freshman eating cereal and on the elliptical for 30 minutes a day, and I didn't know anything about, how to really work out and, eat right. I did lose weight in college, but it wasn't anything consistent. But it wasn't until I graduated college in 2009 or 2008, and then 2009 I got into a car accident and I broke my right hip.
Oh.
So I was in physical therapy for almost 2 years. And it was during that time where when I broke my hip, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. All of a sudden, I wanted to play tennis, I want to play Frisbee, I just want to run, because I couldn't do that. So during my rehab, I had a wonderful therapist. I was just this is something I think I could, do, helping people and, just learning how to better take care of myself and rehab myself. And once I was discharged, I started going to the gym and trying to learn a little bit more how to work out. I got that in therapy. And then I worked at a chiropractor clinic for about 2 years. Learned a lot there, how, just how everything is connected, how everything, this could affect this, your shoulder can affect your ankle, all the misalignments and subluxations and all that. And then I was there for about 2 years when I got pregnant with Jace, and then I actually went to Premier. Okay. So even, early in my pregnancy, and I was there for probably about 8 years, and I learned a whole lot there, just how to move, how not to move, how to properly work out, before I was going to the gym, and for me, everything was 2 sets of 10. You know, I was 2 sets of 10 bicep curls, you know, 2 sets of 10, you know, bench presses. And, you know, I was always just on the machines. Like, I was intimidated by the free weights. Like, I did not go over there. So everything was, you know, like the lat pull downs, 2 sets of 10. And then cardio, I was like, you know, cardio burns fat. So treadmill, 10 minutes. Then I would go to the bike for 15. And I was in the gym for like 2 hours sometimes, thinking, you know, like the more I did, you know, the better it would be. But when I started working at Premier, like I kind of learned, you know, you don't need a whole lot to get a whole lot.
What were some of the big challenges you saw with people coming into Premier that you were like, oh my gosh, like that person needs this? Like when we talked the other day, we were talking about how it's hard to address people. So what were some things you saw at Premier of like in like movement patterns and seeing people move? What were some things you like very common things you would see a lot of?
Most common is just, I was thinking, was like squatting. Like a lot of people just did not know how to squat, or even just like, and we would take them through something simple as just sitting in a chair. Sit to stands, we would call them. Like just, you know, pretend you're sitting on the toilet or pretend you're sitting back in a chair to get them to recognize this is how you're supposed to squat. Or even just like picking something up, like properly, you know, like picking up weights from the floor. Or we had a lot of, you know, patients who, you know, worked at like UPS or in warehouses and lifting like heavy boxes or equipment and, you know, showing them, you know, bring close to you, lift, transfer, you know, so stuff like that. And I had a wonderful, my boss there, who was also a therapist,
Who's that?
Mike Wilson.
Mike Wilson.
Yes, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Like he has just like a wealth of like knowledge.
I've heard good things about Mike.
Yes. So, you know, like picking up a lot of things from him, just taking it back to the basics, like, you know, crawling, rolling, you know, because when you're a child, you know, you do all the things right. And then as you start living life, you kind of start doing things wrong.
Yeah.
So just picking up those kind of like signals and cues on like how to move, like I would take that then, you know, when I would work out. Make sure I was lifting properly or, you know, pressing properly or, you know, keeping my core engaged or even just breathing properly. People don't breathe.
People don't breathe.
Like they hold, like, and you don't realize it until, you know, you're in it or someone calls you out on it. Like you're not breathing. Like I'm not. Like no, you're holding your breath. You know. So even just simple things like remembering to breathe and when to breathe and how to breathe. So working there definitely helped me get better with myself when it came to like working out in the gym or at home and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really good point because we see that here at BOB. We have people who come in all walks of life, but usually people who have been out of fitness for a long time, or you're an outlier. You're in fitness and you came in with, and I want to hear about like your decision for why you came in and those things, but a lot of people come in here because they haven't been in fitness for so long that they've either forgotten about what to do and how to do things like simple things like squats or picking things up from the floor, and they hurt themselves. And then, unfortunately, they get to this point where they are unable to do other workouts, like the high-intensity interval training and the other crazy ones. We won't name drop anyone, but you know what I'm talking about. Other places that like really drive home, like the go, 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 go. We like take it real slow and set the foundation, as you know and you've experienced. So now that you've been in the physical therapy office for a little while, what were some of the biggest takeaways that you have now, understanding movement, but what are some other big things that you've learned that you apply to your normal life?
Oh my gosh. I feel like almost like everything.
Yeah. So let's start naming them off.
Just, oh my gosh, I'm getting like caught up now.
Squats.
Picking things up.
I mean, what you do with your minimalist foot shoes, just
oh yeah, shoe. Oh gosh.
Like your shoe game.
Like I don't.
Your shoe game in a different way is on point than like a lot of other people's shoe game. I'm actually embarrassed wearing my Brooks around you right now, being like bare feet.
But I never like to judge anyone because I was there. I used to be there. I used to, you know, wear Nikes, Champions, and whatever. And now I'm like, I don't want that anymore.
Well, so why not?
Just learning how like the feet feel everything. Like if you can't feel anything with your feet, like it's just going to throw everything off. Like, you know, it helps with balance, proprioception, and just
proprioception.
yes.
That's just
Okay.
saying is dumb.
So just, and I was like, okay, well, like one thing I also realized was, I used to wear regular shoes, I guess we'll call that. And there was one time where like I was working on my pistol squats. I was like, oh yeah, and I finally got it. I was like, I can do this. Like, yeah. When I started going to like wear my Vivos and my bare feet and everything, I went to do my pistol squats and I couldn't. And I'm like, why can't I? And I realized the sneakers were kind of helping me cheat a little bit because I didn't have really that dorsiflexion in my ankle that I thought I had. So I don't
sorry. This is good. Yes, you're so right. Having the ability to move your ankle like this, do these kind of movements.
Exactly. So even just learning like how someone should move, like what's normal, what's not normal. What's okay versus not okay. Like I have very lax ligaments. I'm very hypermobile. And for a long time I thought it was normal. Like I can like dislocate my shoulders and all that, and I'm very mobile in like my thoracic spine, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But it also limits me in certain ways. Like it's easier for me to hurt myself if I don't pay attention to how I'm moving. So learning, that about myself from being there. I'm always the one that like I always feel like I need a stretch, but I don't, because there's nothing to stretch. There's nowhere else to go. So learning different ways to, I guess, stretch, rather than, your typical like hamstring stretch and all that. And what else? And it wasn't even like I feel like with, working in therapy, it wasn't just about like, oh, these are the muscles you have to get stronger, or these, this is what you have to do to, get your knee better. It was like kind of like full body rehab. It was also just like stretching, making sure you're eating right and sleeping. And, it was kind of like everything together, not just, okay, you're in for your knee. We're just going to focus on your knee. Because then, you got your hips and your ankles and, your shoulders off. So that can affect it. So there's a lot that I learned there.
Yeah. And it's so cool you bring it up because too often, especially in the fitness industry, so as a fitness professional and serving people who hear so many things from social media, from other people, influencers, but also people who are just like in fitness. And because we hear it, I've heard people say things like, muscle turns into fat, which is not the case. And like, the other way around.
Yeah.
Muscle can like go right, you can go the other way. But people think you burn fat to build muscle. It doesn't work like that. And the same thing with movement and understanding, like, if you want to have better knees or improved knees, it's not just a matter of moving your knees. It's a matter of strengthening your ankles, strengthening your glutes, strengthening your hips, strengthening your core, strengthening your quads, your hamstrings. Everything around that one spot you want to work on. And that's like, ooh.
And breaking a lot of egos, too, we had to do, because we've had, patients come in, like even just muscular guys.
Do you remember anybody, like, give me like an example, maybe not a name, but like give me an example if you remember.
There was this one patient who, was in CrossFit. Like CrossFit was huge. It still is, but I think around that time it was like just kind of picking up. So he was very used to, like snatching heavy, squatting heavy, whatever. And he, came in with, I believe it might have been a shoulder. We had him starting with like 10 pounds of like carries, and he's like, oh, but at the gym I do. It's like, but this is where you need to start in order to get back where you were. So it was kind of, so telling people like, because people want to push themselves, like, okay, I'm going to do like red band today. It's like, you're 6 weeks out. Let's start with, yellow, nice and slow. And, so like people are like, oh, well, I'm not going to get stronger if I don't do harder. And and that's not always the case. That whole slow and steady wins the race. It's not always about, how fast you can get better or, how heavy you can carry something. Like it's not going to get you better. You have to kind of start over, build yourself up, let yourself heal. A lot of people don't like to let themselves heal and recover, before jumping back into something. Yeah. So, I even try to tell myself, like make sure you stretch, breathe and recover and not just go, 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 go.
Yeah. Our friends over at that Movement Paradigm, shout out to Dr. Ariane Missimer.
Yes, I love her.
I love her.
Yes, her summits.
I love them. Wonderful. But she really helped put it in perspective for me when I've done powerlifting. I've competed, I've taken first place in powerlifting like I got this down. I've done unsanctioned CrossFit. I've done powerlifting. I'm now working on the half marathon. I have all these fitness goals that I want to accomplish. But the one thing she said to me, which was such an eye-opening, like mind-blowing thing that I heard, was she said, yes, you are strong, and we don't need to worry about your strength. We need to worry about your stability. And that is like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, yeah, I've worked on my mobility. I've worked on my strength. But my stability is where I need to focus the most. And for a lot of people, that's so hard to hear, but slowing down and the slow and steady, that is stability.
That's still a struggle for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, especially with my right side, I'm still very like unstable with a lot of things. Like my ankle fatigues very quickly, but at the same time, like just for my lifestyle, you know, I'm working full time. I have, you know, a son, so I feel like that time that I do have to work out, it's like I want to work on this is what I'm going to work on. You know, and some of those things that I should work on or need to work on, or even if it's just like once a week to focus on, you know, like, you know, my ankle or doing something, like I still struggle with doing that, even though I know I need to.
But you've come along to the point in your life where you've made fitness part of your routine.
Yes.
You identify as someone who works out, as someone who's a fitness person. And you've understood the process of like getting started. Like you did the special K diet, and you got started, and then through your journey of the past 8 to 10 years, you've progressed into this person who now you can work out on your own, but you can also understand the value of working with professionals who know a bit more than you do, who can apply different things to where you have a knowledge base, but we can apply it in a different way. So tell me the story, tell me the journey of what made you decide to take that next step in your own fitness journey, of going from solo worker outer to solo / teen professional, like whatever you want to call it now.
With you guys?
Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that you guys have the youth athletic program. So, you know, my son, Jace, he does, you know, floor hockey. He wants to get into ice hockey. He swims. He, you know, used to do gymnastics. I don't know if we'll bring that back eventually. But I also wanted to, so basically I was working out up until 2 weeks before he was born, and even while he was a baby, I was always working out.
You worked out
yes. Yes. He was early. He should have been early, but he was early. So I would get looks at the gym like, "Are you sure?" You're like, "I'm good. I got it." Like I was actually working over at Premier the night. So he was born on a Tuesday. I was working I had a night shift at Premier on Monday, and I was having contractions while I was working. But he was early, so I'm like, I think I have contractions. I don't know. So like the therapist was like, "Are you sure? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was supposed to go to work that afternoon on Tuesday. I called in like, "I don't think I'm coming." Like, I think I'm gonna have this baby,
right.
And I did.
You did. Oh
yes.
My gosh.
So
that's crazy.
You know, so he's watched me work out as he's like gotten older. He's, you know, I let him join in with me, and he makes up his own little routines. So now that he's getting into, you know, these sports and with these teams, another thing, like Premier, like some of, you know, we would have athletes come in who just didn't know how to move. You know, they were playing football, basketball, and they were just, you know, not flexible or just not moving, you know, correctly. So I'm like, you know, if I can get Jace started young, just to get an idea of, you know, how to move and things he might get into as he gets older, like, why not? So I started bringing him here, and, you know, I like the atmosphere. I checked you guys out on, you know, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm like, you know, these people feel, you know, like cool. And then, you know, my friend, Jace's friend's mom, Kathleen Harity, you know, they come here. I heard great things. So, and even though I was working out, you know, at the gym on my own, it's like sometimes you like to have other people tell you what to do. Like, I don't feel like thinking today, so I'm just, you know, so I decided to come here and try the class, and I liked it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep coming.
You too. Thank you. So what was your biggest takeaway from stepping in here, though, back it up, let's go. So for Jace, what would you say is some of the biggest things that you've seen in him in development from just over the past few months? How has he progressed?
His confidence, for one. So he started the class in the heat. There was like a lot of older kids. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe he'll be a little intimidated, a little shy. He won't, you know, really go out there. First class, boom, he was out there, you know, keeping up with the big guys. But then what got me was the fact that he could relate coming here to the other sports he was doing. So around the time, we were looking into this for Jace, he wasn't sure if he wanted to continue swimming. Like he kind of reached a point where, things were getting a little bit harder. Some of the strokes, weren't as easy for him. So he was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So I was like, okay, well, let's kind of fill swim up with something else, because he has to stay active. Like this boy has too much energy. Like he needs to do something. So he came here, and it was after maybe 2 classes, he was like, oh, I want to keep doing swimming because, bent on better is going to help me get stronger and more flexible, and which is going to help me in swimming and hockey. So the fact that he could kind of piece together, coming here is going to help him in his other sports. I was like, that kind of shocked me for one, especially since he's only 8. But so that's what got me. I was like, okay, well, he definitely needs to stay here, and it's definitely helped. And it was probably after that, either first or second. Because when did I text you how the conversation with his instructor, and and after I think the first or second class he did here. He told his instructor, I want to keep doing swimming. I want to sign up for more lessons and all that. So, and his coach is very proud of him, and even some of the swim coaches are interested in him. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when you sent that text, I was excited and blown away that was the quick response that he had just from the second time.
I think it was the second time. Yeah.
It was so cool, and I was, oh my gosh, it made my day. Little things like that make my day. Still to this day, the little things make my day. Consistently. So, give him a big high five for me. Still, and then for you, with your own journey and with everything that you've learned and accomplished and certification in March 2020 and all the little things. But what was that? I mean, it sounds like Jace was that decision to be here as well for him to be that role model, but. What else were we putting together as that story for you to bring it to where we are now? Understanding movement and having a better idea of certain things, more awareness. What was it for you that made you decide to take that step here?
For him or for me?
For you.
For me, definitely just overall wellness, and I feel like I know, I don't want to say I know more than a lot of people, but like you said, there's still stuff I don't know. Yes, I'm in the gym, I can squat and deadlift and, bench press and, move certain ways. But sometimes, like you said, just having someone else there to help or catch something, with my knee turning, I know it's there, but having someone to call it, hey, watch your knee, or, spread your knees apart a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just something, for me, I feel like you should never stop learning. I feel like you, as you get older, till the day you die, there should still be something you're learning. So I feel like I've never been here before. Jace was coming. I kind of like what you guys were doing. I'm what can I get from coming here for myself? And of course, and is still kind of at the point where I'm still trying to get back into where I was. And so even though I was going to the gym, it was still kind of oh, I don't want to be here, or oh, this is pointless, or oh, I only have 30 minutes, what am I going to get out of this? So I was you know what, let me come here, there's people, it seems very motivating, very encouraging, and work on different things that, I wouldn't really think to do in the gym, or I'm kind of dead set on this is what I want to do today. This is what I'm going to do today. Forget that. Coming here, it's okay, well, this is what I have to do today. And it's something I should do. So I feel getting, just getting different workouts in that I wouldn't normally do for myself at the gym or even at home. I think that's part. Did I answer your question?
That answered the question. Yes, it did. I know. It's so great. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to your story because although we tend to serve people who have had complications and challenges in the past with their physical, emotional, mental, whatever it is that brought them to the point where they weren't able to do fitness, there are people who also have fitness as part of the regular life and part of the regular routine, but either need someone to help them accountable, need someone to show them the way to do it in a more efficient or better form, whatever it may be, setting a better foundation, or pushing them past their current plateau. So that's why I'm so glad that you're here and you're able to talk to us about this. So I'm going to interrupt us. I'm going to do a little commercial. I'm going to talk to a little commercial to people in the video and also like who's listening. And then I want you to think of if you could say something inspirational to someone who maybe was in your shoes, someone who's in fitness and works out, but like is ready to level it up, who's ready to break through that plateau. Think of something that you would say to that person to get them moving, to get them to make the next step, to take that next step. All right. So, quick commercial. If you're enjoying this podcast, if you're enjoying the video, please make sure you check out the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, go down to the comments section, let us know how much you love this one, let us know, give us some encouragement for Nikky. If you're listening to it on podcasts, make sure you swing by wherever you're listening to this, give us a good rating. We need those 5-star ratings, we need those reviews to help reach more people so we can change more lives. And finally, head over to bentonbetter.com for more details, for the blog posts, and check out our social media handles. Everything is Bent on Better. You can Google us. Search Instagram and Facebook, we're all there, and we are there to serve and help everybody who wants to be helped and served. So Nikky, what would you say to that person who's looking for that inspiration, looking for that last push to take that next step, whether it's you haven't been in fitness for so long and you want to get back into it, or it's someone who's been in fitness for a while like yourself, but who needs that extra oomph, that extra push to the side, just do it. What would you say?
Pretty much just do it. I feel like you say, if someone who either isn't into fitness or has been out for a while, like, just do it. You know, either go to a class you wouldn't think you would like, or, you know, even if, like, stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like, that was the big thing for me, like, 2020 was, like, getting out of my comfort zone. And even a little bit before, you know, doing something, even just by myself, you know, like, taking the animal flow certification all the way in New Jersey by myself with people like I don't even know who's going. I wouldn't know anyone. Like that is something that I wouldn't have done. Like I'm kind of like, oh, can you go with me, or you know, can you like get a friend to come with me? So kind of get out of your comfort zone, or you know, like go to a like you know, if you're around here, come to Bent on Better. Like seriously, or just go to a professional and you know, change it up. Or if you've been doing fitness for a while, like for me, like I just felt like I needed like a change. I needed something different, a different atmosphere, or, you know, just someone who kind of understood where I was, as that could encourage me. Because what I've also realized is like, if, you know, you're gonna have friends who work out and friends who don't work out. And sometimes I feel like the friends who don't work out don't really understand like the hardships that come along with working out, because it's not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and there would be days where I'm just like, you know, like I beat myself up, and you know, the friends who didn't work out was like, oh, you're fine, you look great, you're strong, and it's like, you just don't get it. Like, you know, like yes, I am, but like it's a lot more than that. So you know, get with someone, you know, professional, or you know, join a gym or take a class, or basically just do it. Like that's mine, just do it. And don't beat yourself up. It's so hard to do. One thing that I have to keep telling myself is, for me, there's no deadline. You know, some people might have deadlines. You know, they want to do a 5K in October, or they want, you know, they want to do powerlifting competition, you know, 2022 or whatever. Like for me, there's no deadline. So I have to remember, like, I don't have to get back where I was by next week. You know, like it's going to take time, especially since this is a lifestyle. I want to be able to work out and do all this until I'm hopefully 99. So basically I have my whole life to, you know, keep working on myself. Of course, you know, you want results as soon as possible, but I just have to remember, like, you know, just take it slow, you'll get there. You know, you just keep at it, keep working on it. You know, you're going to have your bad days, but you're going to have your great days. You know, you just got to take it one day at a time, and that's
take it one day at a time. That's good. That was so good. That was so good. Take it one day at a time,
yes,
and just do it.
Yes, just do it.
So good. Wow. Thanks so much for checking out the Better Fitness Proof podcast here at Bent on Better. We'll catch you again next time. Bye.
Bye.